All right, Shalom. First off, I'm going to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father's true name, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walking throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and sincerity. All right, this is the brother Masham Mayum, one of the men here with the GMS branch out here in the morning camp. Back again with another quick lesson, and it was inspired off of the book of Baruch, and pretty much going into how the land Jerusalem experienced or what it'll make sense as we start reading. But let's start off with Baruch chapter 4 and verse 4, and it reads, "O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel," right? And the things that are pleasing have been made known. Why? Because we've awoken back onto this truth. All right. Um, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, right? Verse 6, "You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked them that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High." Right, because when you read throughout the history, okay, a lot of different kings and you know, um, went away, okay, from the commandments, right? Transgressed, okay, by serving different idols. Okay, you had the golden calf. Okay, that's what the Northern Kingdom, started praising and worshiping. Okay, and you had different Southern Kingdom kings that sacrificed. Okay, abominations and whatnot. Right, but that's the transgressing and the going away from the laws. Okay, verse 8, ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you, right? And that's dealing with the land, okay? Because you know, once Jake started going off, that's when the Lord had to kick out Jake from the land, right? And as we continue to read, um, verse 9 says, "For when she saw the wrath of the Most High coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion, for the Most High hath brought upon me great mourning." Right, and and the mourning was what? When Jake was being captured by these different nations. Okay, you had the Northern Kingdom, and when the Assyrians came, okay, and grabbed up the Northern Kingdom, right? And from that point on, they never came back. The majority, should I say, a lot of them never came back to the land, okay. And then you add after that, okay, not too later, or after that, you had the Babylonians that came and grabbed up the Southern Kingdom, okay, during the time of Jeremiah, you know. Verse 10, "For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them," right? Dealing with, what I just mentioned, right? Verse 11, "With joy did I nourish them, but sent them away with weeping and mourning." Okay? And from that point on, okay, that's why the land was pretty much left almost desolate. Okay? And I believe you still had like small remnants of people that were left in the land, okay, after the Babylonians carried the Southern Kingdom away. Okay, but for the most part, a lot of the Israelites were taken captive, okay, by these two nations, right? During that time. Verse 12, "Let no man rejoice over me a widow and forsaken of many," right? And that's dealing with the land of Jerusalem, okay, during that time. All right. And Lord's will, once again, it makes sense because this is what I wanted to harp on, okay, and tying it back to Babylon, right? Verse 12, "Let no man rejoice over me a widow and forsaken of many, who for the sins of my children am left desolate, because they departed from the law of the Most High." Okay. For Jake going off, okay, that's why they were taken captive by these other nations, right? Verse 13, "They knew not his statutes, nor walked in the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the paths of discipline in its righteousness." Okay. So a lot of different kings, okay, were transgressing. All right. I believe when you read it, I think we just read it in I think Sirach. It said I think it was only Hezekiah, Josiah, and King David. Okay, it said that we're not deflective. You know, basically they wholeheartedly followed the Lord. Okay, and then turn to the left and worship any other gods or do anything like that. You know, but from there let's get Deuteronomy 28. Okay, because the reason that happened, all right, was because this is what the Lord said. Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I think it's verse 15. Right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15, and it reads, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." And that's exactly what happened, right? Jake ended up going off, okay, and the punishments came upon the nation of Israel. You know, um, let's jump down to verse 68. Okay, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Okay, so this is what this is how this explains once again, okay, why you see the history, okay, of the Southern Kingdom, all right, what Esau, calls, quote unquote, the slaves, okay, which, technically, all Israel became slaves, okay, but, you know, that's dealing with the Southern Kingdom, okay, being brought over here to the Americas, all right, in 1619. And then also before that, you had a lot of the Northern Kingdom, all right, that were when Christopher Columbus came over here and went back to Europe, okay, that was taking on ships as well, okay, to that part of the world, all right. So that's this being fulfilled, you know. But let's get this real quick too, all right, because here once again is where as it says, let's get that real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 33. "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast and refused to let them go." Okay? So here in America is where what the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. All right? That's why you see what's going on here in America. All right? You know, there's a complete melting pot, and you got the speckled birds here too. Okay? Dealing with the curses too, because that doesn't, just because you look like these other nations, that doesn't exempt you from the curses, you know. But the point is what? This is where the whole nation of Israel, okay, is here being oppressed, all right, and it's where Babylon, okay, aka America, right, tying into what I'm gonna grab next, all right, because when let's go back to Baruch chapter 4, right, I think it's verse 21. Right. This is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 31. "Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons." Okay. So we're saying miserable, okay, is this place here Babylon. Okay, well, it doesn't say Babylon, but the cities, right? And Babylon being one of them, okay, that thy sons served, dealing with the nation of Israel. Okay. Because what? Destruction is coming upon this place, okay, for all the wickedness that is committed. All right. Because going to Revelations, right? Let's get Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, right? Babylon the Great, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. And so, like, I don't mean to add that, like it says that, but that's what it's also called, and that's what I thought when it said the great city, all right? But let's reread it again, Revelation 11:8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Okay, and that great city, what? Is Babylon. All right, Babylon the Great, right? Spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, because the wicked things that were done in Sodom are going on here, okay? Right? And it has different things, okay, that resemble ancient Egypt, okay? But the point is what? This is where the judgment took place, okay? This is where both kingdoms were oppressed, okay? And it's saying miserable, okay? We just read in that Baruch. It said miserable are the cities which thy children serve. So it's going to be a judgment coming upon this place, all right? And like we just read in Baruch, how it said, you know, let's go back to it real quick. All right, how did it say it again? Right. It says, Baruch 4:10, for I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. With joy that I nourished them, but sent them away with weeping and mourning. Okay. So what? That's the land of Jerusalem experiencing what? Widowhood, okay? And the loss of children, right? For the judgment that came upon it, you know, of the people. Now, what does it say about Babylon, right? Let's get this in Isaiah, okay? Because it's going to be worse, you know. Eventually, the nation of Israel is going to be able to go back to the land. This is Isaiah chapter 47 and starting at 1, and it reads, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Okay, and that's what? This place being exposed, okay, to be the daughter of Babylon, okay, and all the wickedness that it's doing, right? Verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Holy One of Salakia, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Okay, and it's calling it the daughter of Babylon. Why? Because it's dealing with what? This place here. Okay. America, KKA, right? Or AKA Americas, you know? Right. Verse 6, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Right. And we just read, okay, on that Deuteronomy, okay, in Revelation, okay, for the sins, of the nation of Israel for transgressing. That's why these other nations came upon it, okay, and captured both kingdoms, okay, and eventually all a lot of the Israelites were exiled out of the land of Israel, right? And are where? Here in America today, you know. Verse 7, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. So like I am, and none else besides me, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Okay, and I wanted to bring this out because what? This place here at America, once again, okay, believes that it will never go down, okay, or experience the loss of children, okay, or widowhood, right? We just read how, Jerusalem, right? The people were taken down for transgressing, okay? And what? When most of the Israelites were removed out of that land, that's what it experiencing the loss of children. And the same thing's gonna happen here, okay, but in a greater fashion, right? Verse 8, therefore hear now this, Salakia, verse 9, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Okay? And let's get how that's going to happen, okay? That's basically, I just want to bring that up because it's dealing with what? The people of this land being destroyed and nobody ultimately dwelling here, right? Let's get Isaiah 13, right, to show how this place is going to be left desolate, you know? Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 19, and it reads, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Right. And real quick, it said what? It shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah? The Lord had fire and brimstone rain down upon it to destroy it. Right? It's going to be the same thing here. Okay, we're dealing with these nukes. Right? It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of all the lands shall cry in their desolate houses. Salaki. And the wild beasts of all the land shall dwell in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places. And their time is near to come, and their days shall not be prolonged. All right? So that's what? By the destruction that come upon this place, all right? That's going to be what? It experiencing its loss of children, all right? And widowhood. Why? Because eventually nobody's going to dwell here, all right? So, but that was the point, I just want to show that, for the judgment, like as the judgment came upon Israel, okay, and it was brought here to serve as judgment, well, the judgment is going to be passed upon this place, okay, and chiefly upon Esau, Edom, okay. Why? Because they're the ones who brought the judgment upon the nation of Israel, okay. That was the point. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, for putting the spirit upon me to do this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walking throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and sincerity. Shalom.